Welcome to Talent on Tap. My name is Brendan Brown. I head up recruiting here at LinkedIn. And a few weeks ago, we had Erin Scruggs on the show, and she introduced to us the Book of Recruiter Competencies, which we've been busy building here on the LinkedIn Talent Acquisition team. The Book of Recruiter Competencies is really a framework for us to articulate what is excellence in the recruiter role. And I'm super excited today to dive into the first competency, which is influences and advises. And to take us through it, we've got Dan Clarkson, who heads up exec and leadership recruitment for our engineering organization. Welcome, Dan.
Great to see you, Brendan. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. So first, before we dive in, Dan, I wanted to just quickly frame up for people what the BORC, as we affectionately call it, is made up of. So it's made up of 12 total competencies. And in addition to that, we've got some clarity on behaviors that are important to the role of a recruiter. But tell us a little bit more, Dan, about how we arrived at these 12 competencies.
It started by us redefining the business objectives to align with where talent acquisition is heading as a function. As Erin mentioned in your previous session, that the role of talent acquisition has really evolved over the last 10 years or so. And clients are no longer looking for that transactional relationship, but instead are looking for someone who can genuinely be a consultative partner, can be strategic with them and really help them with that key aspect of hiring within their business. From there, though, we then aligned across all of our talent acquisition leadership team. We surveyed input from our ICs, and we went right to the source of looking for those people who genuinely do this very well. We leveraged our managers to validate some of those competencies. We socialized these with HR and learning partners, and then we iterated, revalidated, and then quite honestly, wordsmithed a hell of a lot to get the delivery.
Awesome. Excited to dive into our first competency, influences and advises. Tell us a little bit about it.
The recruiter who influences and advises demonstrates traits like influencing behaviors and forging strong trust-based partnerships. And they demonstrate that process knowledge and that subject matter experience, but they also allow them to build the trust. And with trust, it allows them to really influence crucial areas, such as advocating for diversity and inclusion, by understanding, promoting, articulating, and influencing strategies that really go after diverse talent on the market. As a trusted advisor, we can leverage data to develop insights and inform the business how to best address talent market at a strategic level.
Love it. It's so interesting because in my experiences, oftentimes a lot of the instincts that a recruiter may have would fall under influence and advising in some sphere, but maybe they haven't had the framework or the direction or the coaching to really sort of unlock those insights or, like you said, opinions.
Absolutely. And a really top of mind one at the moment is, especially with lockdown and everything that's happening around the world, is how to address things like location strategy and how to address markets that have previously been untapped because of the way that we've addressed the market. So I think, it's something that should come as second nature to a lot of recruiters from a skill perspective, but often it's that plan on how to unlock it and how to take those relationships forward.
Yeah, I totally agree. Talk to us about how we've been able to start to unlock this through learning.
Yeah, so we wanted to make this body of work really actionable, not just theoretical. So we asked everyone that wanted to be part of this journey to start with a self-assessment, identify a specific relationship that could be impacted, and then really looked at how they could unlock that with their manager to identify specific areas or specific people that could be improved. In parallel, we launched a self-paced LinkedIn Learning playlist, which includes LinkedIn Learning content as well as some custom content. But where I really think this plan comes to life is that pre-work. It's that identification of a relationship that specifically wanted to be addressed, and then how we looked at being able to follow that up with actions afterwards. We identified accountability partners in the session to help follow up behaviors afterwards. And we have a couple of sessions at LinkedIn specifically where we can get to role play those sessions out. Finally, and most importantly, managers were given really early indications that this was coming, which means that they could follow up in the personal development plans of individuals and really allow them to be able to put this into practice once they finish the session.
Love it. And the accountability partner, I think, is a genius idea and one I think any recruiting team should take seriously. Tips on what, or more insight into what excellence in the area of influences and advises looks like.
Yeah, I think there's three key areas for me. And first and foremost is to be authentic. The most rewarding relationships, as I said, in my professional career have been those where I'm genuinely invested. I feel a shared success and I feel as an extension of the teams I support. And elevating your relationship is just more rewarding. It's a zero-sum game, and it allows you to take bigger swings and things that may be considered courageous or outside of your comfort zone to anyone looking in from the outside seem way more possible. Secondly, be deliberate in what you're trying to do. One of the things we referenced was the self-evaluation and how from the outset we wanted to make this a super practical training. And it's all well and good learning all these new tools, but if they stay in the toolbox, they're not going to serve you. So being deliberate with what you're trying to do and how you use those skills to help you hone your craft even further. And then be realistic. Don't expect the results overnight. And finally, I think there is real strength in the humility of exposing the fact you're trying to grow and saying that, hey, I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to think differently. I may get it wrong a few times, but I'm trying to do this for the right reason.
Talk a little bit about the courage piece, which surely I could readily admit at various points in my career. Still today, there might be conversations I need to have that are just daunting or don't want to have or don't know what to say.
These relationships are partnerships, and I think it should never be one-sided, and you should feel comfortable in knowing your own value to be able to set clear expectations and hold accountability, not just to yourself, but also to the partners we work with. That said, some of these conversations are scary, and unfortunately or fortunately, this comes with the territory of the role that we play. Sometimes you have to psych yourself up and have a conversation that maybe is somewhat brave. But I think as you continue to validate the level of experience and expertise that you have, I think that relationship goes from strength to strength. To loop back to what Erin said in the previous session, our clients want this. This isn't us forcing this on them. Our clients are asking for our opinion and our strategy on how to best address talent on the market. If we think about diversity specifically, diversity and inclusion is such a hot topic, but it's a hot topic for a reason. It's difficult. It's difficult to operate in these spaces. Doing the same things we've done for the last 5 or 6 years isn't going to move the needle, and it isn't going to change what we're doing. So by definition, you're going to come up with something different, something that's uncomfortable, something that's maybe outside of the comfort zone for everyone. But having that opinion and moving it forward, I think, is what we're paid to do. I think that's the strategic element of what we're trying to do. And I think any partner should feel privileged to have someone that is able to operate like that with them as a strategic thinker.
Love that, without a doubt. I think you've summed it up beautifully. And I think everyone will probably walk away with some nuggets here. I know I've learned a lot of new information just in this short conversation. Thank you for all the work you've put into this, and appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We'll be sharing some additional resources on this topic. Check it out in the comments. We'll also be sharing the LinkedIn Learning Path. And then, as we've mentioned before, we're going to be back sharing more of the Book of Recruiter Competencies. Next up is championing diversity, inclusion, and belonging. Excited to dig into that topic. Until then, be well, stay safe, and thanks for joining us on Talent on Tap.